Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here once more at the Overwatch Open, the grand finals for the EU region right now between Rogue and Reunited. Reunited trying to prove that they can win a grand finals. Rogue starting off strong, going up 1-0. And John, we'll see if Reunited can fight this back as we move on to map number 2, which will be Dorado.
Exactly. Now, Dorado, very much a mainstay map. I would argue probably currently third place, maybe, behind Kings Row and Hollywood. But very popular. The teams will have scrimmed on these maps a lot. And we're not really throwing any curveballs in terms of which maps these guys are going to. They just want to play their straight-up game and basically win very, very cleanly. The problem for Reunited is, if you ask yourself the question, well, if both teams just played their normal game after map number 1, it really is Reunited that might have to switch something up here.
Yeah, Reunited certainly was not the best showing coming out in Hollywood, and I'm actually curious to see how they're going to handle first point Dorado defense, because there have been times in recent history where we've seen them try and copy what we saw Envious do, where they sort of went right for the spawn doors, went right for the throat. Ooh. I think given the nature, though, of this tournament and what's at stake, I'd expect both teams to go a little bit more vanilla, defending the courtyard, nothing too crazy, but hey, it's Overwatch. There's all teams that take big risks sometimes get big rewards.
So, competitive mindset, if you are actually 1-0 down in this best of 5, put yourself in Winghaven's shoes right now. I mean, they're pretty big shoes, right? But do you really want to be going for the big risk, big reward play on the first point on defense here? It's like, it will look so great if you pull it off, but it is such a big risk to take after more or less being outclassed on the previous map.
For Winghaven, there's interesting, you mentioned high risk, high reward with Winghaven. There was one point where he was the Reinhardt that just personified that, where you'd go for big charges all the time, and oftentimes did get punished. But for him here, I'd expect his Reinhardt play to be more on the vanilla side, not going for anything crazy, but still consistent and solid.
All right. Well, Rogue are currently 1-0 up in this best of 5. They're going to love to be able to get a clean sweep going on to match point here. Reunited looking to fight back. And Rogue are going to be defending first. It looks like, as you said, ZP, they're not going for anything particularly forward. And Reunited here are looking to burst out of the gates. Pretty much with Ace, I would argue pretty standard in terms of comp here.
Yep, and it's sort of a throwback to the past, too. Tavik one time was one of the most well-known Junkrats for defense on places like this on Dorado. It was really him and Seagull that sort of go, oh my goodness, Junkrat. So we'll see if Tavik can carry this through and make his past proud, but Rogue right now definitely in no hurry, not looking for any extra engagement, just sitting back in the courtyard and poking. And oftentimes in Dorado, this is the case where the offense will take their time, they'll look for an opportunity, and once they figure they do have an edge in the poke war, they'll rush right in, but nothing crazy for Reunited right now. They're trying to go right up the guts.
Yeah, we're looking for opportunities maybe where Cruz switches to speed and suddenly they come bursting into the archway, but we haven't really seen that so far. The fire strikes, the constant damage from Tavik has just been keeping Reunited at bay at the moment. Nice and calm though, still 3 minutes of course to get to that first checkpoint, and neither side really looking to overextend. Very, very pokey to start things off.
Yep, and right now Rogue has done a better job of winning that poke war. Certainly Tavik has caused some troubles here for Reunited. Molotov just sitting here on the left side, looking for an opportunity, laying in damage to that Reinhardt shield, and he will be moving forward with his Reinhardt. Flashes over the top, doesn't get anything due to the Zarya bubble, and here comes AKM off the flip side. Tavik with the tire, runs right over Kib. 2 kills here for the defense. Again, nothing too flashy. They're not trying to go super crazy and rushing in. They will go in now that they have an advantage, and Tavik just cleans it up.
Yeah, both of those initial kills were on the heroes that were going to flank as well, weren't they? So it just meant that Rogue could focus their efforts a little bit more on what was in front of them, and that forces the full reset.
Yeah, this is just very solid, dependable play coming up from Rogue. I like the fact that they're not taking a whole lot of risks. They're making Reunited try and beat them, and when Reunited goes to move in heavily, they're getting punished. Now, that being said, you look at the ultimates coming up here. Cruz is going to have Sound Barrier in the next fight. Winghaven does have Earth Shatter. Morte and the Zen. They do have tools to work with here, but if they don't get this draw off using these ults, it could be very likely that Rogue will hold here on first.
Well, we have the Sound Barrier coming out first, and an Earth Shatter coming out now from Winghaven. He charges in, manages to get the kill on Reinforcer. There'll be no tank, but we have the dead. Oh, and AKM gets taken out. Kib with the reflect from the Genji. And all of a sudden, 3 down on the side of Rogue. Reunited are looking to break through. Junkrat not able to kill anybody with Riptire either, and Tavik trying his best to hero hold this, but this is such an uphill battle for him right now.
Rogue right now is just down way too many people. Tavik trying to be a hero in the back and push that. get a few kills to actually make some space. Not going to get it here right now. Here comes the defensive transcendence, though. Rogue not giving this up just yet. Kib holding on to the Dragon Blade. Might be popping here a moment. Is looking for that pick off on the McCree. Needs just a little bit more. McCree's still alive, though, in the back. Reinforce on the Winghaven. Oh my goodness, Kib, you needed to finish this kill earlier. Does have to back out. And is Rogue going to achieve the miracle right now? They do get 2 extra kills. Here comes Reinforce on the point as Earth Shatter. And oh my goodness, Joro, is looking like Reunited had this, but Rogue able to fight this back. Now, the one good thing for Reunited, even though they only have less than a minute left, they have a sound pair up. Nox is not going to have it. Reunited still has one really good push left.
Reunited looked like they did everything right in that push. Rogue believed that they would be able to hold. They came back. They refused to accept defeat. And somehow, from the clutches of losing first point, they're saying, no, we need to full hold this. Here comes Winghaven now. They're boosting in. Lucio in a very advanced position. Needs to be a bit careful. Kib now with the Sushi Blade. Are we going to see some slicing and dicing? Unko getting very low, but he gets the kill. And that is very crucial at the start of this fight.
Tavik went for the tower, got nothing, but is coming in the flank. Does catch Morte unaware. 2 extra kills here from Rogue. It is down to the wire. It's 3v3 right now on the point. Sound Barrier comes out here from Rogue. Rogue now looking to push us in their favor. That Sound Barrier is huge, but Winghaven moves in with the charge, takes out Nox. 2 extra kills for Reunited. They are fighting to stay alive here on Dorado. Winghaven wildly swings the hammer, just looking to end this right now. It is a fight between both Reinhardts. Will hammer reinforce in the head. And this is looking very good for Reunited right now. Rogue, though, still streaming onto a point. Wins comes in, does get taken out. 2 meters away, and they will cap it. But look at all the time that Rogue burned off the clock.
That was desperation at its finest, but it was bringing out some of the best plays that we saw from these guys. Rogue believed in the fact that they could hold on the first point. They didn't accept defeat the first time round, and Reunited by the skin of their teeth, managing to take it almost as it went into overtime. Really awesome on first point Dorado there, so I guess that answers one of our questions if we're going to see the full hold. And here comes the collapse now. Rogue coming back down there looking for blood. AKM looking to try and pick off Genji. He can't, though, unfortunately, with the deflect there. And Reunited, Cruz going down very early on. They're going to have to back up behind Winghaven. Excellent headshot there. Means they don't have to worry about the flank now, and Rogue can face this head on.
Yeah, the important thing to note here for Reunited is that Reunited is effectively on the hot seat for the rest of this game. Unfixed throws out the Graviton towards the end of the fight, does get a double kill, creates space for Volataja. Volataja moving in, has the Deadeye. Wow. 4 kills here for Reunited. They get the pick off on the wins at the very end. And oh my goodness, for a second there, it looked like that might have been a wasted Graviton, but it created just enough space for Volataja to go off, and now Reunited keeping the hope alive. But again, you look at the time here, Joro, if they lose even one fight, the odds of a full hold from Rogue go up tremendously.
Well, we have to hope Volataja keeps this up. It's exactly those kind of plays we've been talking about all weekend, ZP. He's been capable of pulling that out of the bag, turning a potential wasted situation into something that isn't. AKM saying, I can do a little bit of that too, and he eliminates Volataja as well. Wow, now 3 kills in a row on the side of Rogue. They're really trying to push this back, and this is what you were talking about. 1 minute and 15 seconds left. This payload isn't really next to the point yet, and Reunited have one good push with 3 ults left.
So let's break down the next team fight here. It's going to open with Sound Bearers. Both teams are going to be looking for that. Both teams have Earth Shatters, so really I think it's going to be a tale of 2 Reinhardts here. Certainly Kib can do some work in the back, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. But if Reinforce is able to get a better Earth Shatter off with all else being equal, it's very likely to be a hold for Rogue here before second. Conversely, if Winghaven is able to get good Earth Shatter, Reunited will keep the dream alive. Either way, though, this fight is about to begin. Here comes Reunited coming in over the top from the backline. Kib pulls out the Dragon Blade. Sound Bearers are down for both sides, but Reunited loses 2 very early on in this fight. They're going uphill. Kib not able to get anything off this Dragon Blade, and AKM over the top gets the double kill, going to turn Rogue's favor. Uncoat the final cleanup. And Rogue now very likely to have this hold, Joro. The most coming up from Reunited will be just a last gasp attack.
Yeah, and here's the big thing as well. Unco managed to do that without the use of Transcendence as well. So while there's a universe where Mort would have had Transcendence and still be able to attack going into overtime, that advantage can get negated from Unco right now. Reunited coming in for the last gasp. We've got Winston going up top to try and start off. Transcendence gets popped by Rogue here. Earth Shatter from Winghaven trying to get a charge, but he gets knocked back. And unfortunately, they are getting knocked all the way back right now. Unfixed is down. Volataja is only just respawning. And Winghaven is kind of in the middle of nowhere right now. Very, very difficult situation to be. He doesn't even get anyone on the charge. Rogue at the moment are trying their best to hold. Not too many kills in the feed, though.
The real problem there is that AKM was able to take out Voltaja very early in that fight for one of the first pickoffs, and without Voltaja, so goes Reunited. They're not able to get the damage they needed to in that fight, and really, that's the power of winning a McCree versus McCree battle. Because AKM won that, the damage for Reunited went way down. They weren't able to get the kills they needed to get, and as a result, now they're faced with the very unenviable situation of having to defend right before last. So for Reunited, their best chance of victory here is probably a full point hold on point A, but that doesn't happen nearly as much right now.
It definitely doesn't happen as much as it used to, that's for sure. But full holds on point A are possible. The dream is alive. At the end of the day, that archway is so unbelievably choked up that with the right hero composition and with the right amount of damage going through at all times, if you can deny those choke points, or better yet, funnel the entire enemy team into a single choke point of your choosing, you can start to dictate those team fights and get ahead in ultimate. How are Reunited going to be able to engineer this?
How's Reunited going to be able to engineer this? I mean, more than anything else, I think they have to pull up their tank play a little bit more. One of the unsung parts of that last game is that you looked at the contribution coming in from Reinforce and Wins. It just felt like they were getting a little bit more done than Winghaven and Unfixed relatively, especially from Wins. I feel like Wins' contribution has been off the charts. So from Reunited, Voltage definitely had his moments. Kib had his moments, but they need a little bit more support from their tank play. And if tanks, of course, are key in initiating into the Dorado courtyard, so if they are able to outplay Reinforce and Wins just a little bit going on, that's probably their best chance here at keeping things intact for Reunited on this first point defense.
So we're taking a look at a lot of timings maybe coming out of Winghaven, but particularly I'm excited to see if Unfixed on Zarya can actually pull this one out of the bag. A good Zarya can make or break so many different team fights here, and Unfixed is no stranger to playing the hero, but like you say, Wins has been contributing so much to Rogue right now that Unfixed has to get to that level and hopefully surpass it in order to hit the full hold here.
Alrighty, well, the gates are going to be opening up. This is going to be Reunited on the defense, Rogue and Blue on the attack, and Rogue, all they have to do is bring it to that yellow marker on your HUD, and that's going to be it. And oh my goodness, this is a blitz attack here on Dorado. This has not happened very often, but Reunited is prepared. They just backed out behind the Reinhardt shield, and Unfixed takes out Reinforce immediately. So they're going to be down to Winston, but it's okay at the try. Winston's going to be back very soon. They didn't really lose a whole lot. The cart still takes a little while to come up here anyways, Shiro.
Yeah, exactly right. Tavik now moving on in. He actually picks off Valutaja very early on. That's a lot of DPS from Reunited that isn't going to be firing through this archway soon. Is Rogue going to use this as an opportunity to push through? It looks like it. Note, we have Reinforce coming in on Winston. There is no Reinhardt, of course, in this composition. Tavik now coming out with the Dragon Blade, getting Unfixed and Winghaven to start things off. He does go down, so things tempered ever so slightly, but 3 kills going Rogue's way right now.
One of the great things about Dragon Blade is that even though Tavik died early there, first of all, he built that super quickly, even by Genji standards. Really good landing of poke there. But anytime you go in deep on a Dragon Blade like that, it opens up AKM to do all sorts of damage because everyone's focusing on the Genji. It's one of the most terrifying ults in the game. But by the way, a Reaper just holding W and mouse 1 towards you, he does a lot of damage. And as a result, Rogue is able to take this point off of that Genji play with the Reaper support, and they're in a great position now to end this map in a hurry.
And now we are ticking down. You can see the distance at the top of your screen. 78.75 meters is the distance to beat here, and Rogue already 1/3 of the way to that total. And this is tricky for Reunited. They want to hold the high ground. They want to choose the engagement, but they have to collapse sooner rather than later. Transcendence is popped out now on the side of the offense, and Rogue at the moment, AKM using a Death Blossom, not able to get anyone though. Valutaja picking him off. Can the rest of the team pull it out here? It's 5v5. Transcendence coming out on the side of Reunited, gives them a little bit more stamina, and Unko goes down as well. He has used his ult though, Wins with Graviton Surge available. It does get used immediately here, and 3 kills on the trot for Rogue.
And that right there is an example of how Wins has been outplaying Unfixed this entire game. That fight was very even up until the end. Wins found the opportunity quicker than Unfixed. Look at Unfixed, he still has his ult. He did not use it mid-fight. Wins used it, found the right opportunity, set up Rogue for 3 kills, and as a result, Rogue right now is very likely to win right here. Here comes the Veek looking for the finisher, dives to the back, Dragon Blade at the ready, gets shoot down a little bit by McCree towards the end. Here comes the counter Graviton, sets up Kib for a triple kill, so Tavik sort of ending up with not a whole lot there, but Rogue still fighting it in, takes out Kib at the very end. A little bit of a fight here, 2 versus 3 on the fight, or on the payload. Tavik will go down to the hammer as Reinforce pops a Primal Rage, still just keeping the payload in progress here and buying time for Rogue to get back to the point.
Yeah, and you know, as it currently stands, Reunited need to win this. Rogue don't, because they can regroup and come back with the next push if they feel like that's going to be useful. They have no ults available at the moment, but the payload is so close to finishing. It's 1.5 meters away from where they need to be. Reunited have to be so on point right now. Trading kills. Reunited are killing more and doing a good job. Winghaven gets taken out by AKM in the middle of that, but they have more bodies on the payload, and they have to stay there as well. One sneaky little push, and 1.5 seconds separates them from defeat.
They're 1.55 meters away from defeat right now, and they have to hold this for 4 minutes. This is the worst situation right now for Reunited. Sure, they're winning this fight, but you look at all the ways that Rogue can win this. In fact, look at the next fight. Nox has a sound barrier coming up. Tavik about to have Dragon Blade up once more. The simple 1-2 punch of sound barrier and the Dragon Blade is going to be very hard to hold given where the payload has to go. If Reunited backs up too far, they're going to lose by default while people are still alive.
And here we go. I mean, they basically have to do 40 centimeters a minute, and I don't think they're looking to wait till minute 4 here. Rogue collapsing in. This is their opportunity. They want to end this right here, right now, and get to the grand finals of the Overwatch Open. Reunited fighting to stay alive. Valutaja on top. He's been on point all day long, but he's going to have to do something very special here to deny Rogue their opportunity to win. Here come the ultimates. There's the sound barrier. AKM zoning everybody out. They're standing next to the payload. Graviton Surge comes out. The payload's still not moving. Reunited need to keep contesting this. 1.5 meters. Valutaja goes down, and this could be problematic.
Well, Tavik did get to the back here with the Dragon Blade, did take out Valutaja. It's pretty even right now, but when Valutaja is dead, so goes Reunited. They don't have a big engine of damage. Morte one last few remaining. Tavik charging at him. The payload's still moving forward. They cannot back up for any reason. That's why Unfixed pops the Primal Rage, trying to give a little bit more time for Reunited to get back on the point, but this is the danger zone right now. Morte goes down. Tavik, nothing really challenging him until Winston gets on him towards the end. But here comes the last part from Rogue. They're getting on top of the point. 1 or 2 more picks will be at the last ditch. Sound barrier comes out here from Cruz. Here comes the Deadeye from AKM. Oh my goodness, what a brawl on top of the fight. Reunited is fighting for their lives right now, Joro, but it's not going to be enough as AKM moves in. Sound barrier on the way. Does Reunited have this?
Oh, Valutaja tried so hard, but he got taken out by Deadeye from AKM. This is an all-out brawl. There's still 2 minutes available as well. They don't necessarily have to win it with this, but they're going to. Rogue takes the victory here, 2-0, and now Reunited. I mean, it was already difficult. It's now a mountain to climb.
Well, play the match command. Oh my goodness, a Zen play of the game. This is not something we see all that often, so let's see what Unco does here. But yeah, I mean, the final push at the end was very intense. Rogue knew they were playing with a lot of time, so they didn't really have to sit back and go for a full regroup. They just continue applying pressure just because of how good their defense was. And unfortunately now for Reunited, this is playing into the same old Joro, where once more, Reunited down 2 games in a grand final, and they're very likely now looking at runner-up status, something that they're very familiar with. This is not where they want to be.
No, it really isn't. I mean, consolations to take away from that. I guess, number 1, if the fairy tale happens now, it's going to be even more epic than before. But that looks so comprehensive from Rogue. That last fight really was exciting, but Rogue just kept piling on the pressure going, actually, we can afford to do this. They could have sat back and gone for team fight after team fight and still had 2 or 3 fights available where they could have built ultimates. So it was almost a question of when from the beginning.
Right, and I think one other thing of note here, too, is that I do, just as the series has progressed, I do feel, I mentioned it mid-cast, but I'll just re-emphasize here, is that the tank play for Rogue has felt just a little bit on par, and there was no better example of that than the fight in Streets there, where it was very even kill-death-wise between the 2 teams, and Wins simply found a better opportunity at the Graviton than Unfixed did, and that really turned the fight, and it's sort of been that difference in play that has been putting Rogue just a little bit ahead.
All right.
But we are going to be throwing to a break real quick. We'll be going to map number 3 in the series. Will Reunited be able to pull the reverse sweep and bring this back? If you want to find out, come back in just a few minutes.